Welcome to the Town Board meeting, Thursday, June 2nd. Please rise and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emergency exits are behind the town clerk and also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Supervisor Perotti?
Here.
Councilpersons Gutierrez?
Here.
Blackman?
Here.
Revillard?
Here.
And let the record reflect that Councilwoman Doyle is absent.
Public comment. I don't think we have. Do we have any letters?
Nothing has been received.
Okay, town clerk report.
Good evening, everyone. Sharing this evening for the town clerk local share for the month of May 2022 was $341.50, with the local share being remitted to the supervisor in the amount of $307. With regards to the 2022 tax collection, to date, we've collected $6,839,303.15. We've also collected $18,091.11 in penalties, and for this period of time, $26 in notice fees. With the remaining of uncollected is $296,681.03. Just as a fun fact, that's 96% of all of our parcels, and based on the mail delivery, the remainder of this week and early next week, we only have 75 parcels that were outstanding. So that may tweak between now and our next meeting. I am sharing with the board I'm in receipt of Nathan Roy's resignation from the Wastewater Committee. He did submit this to the town clerk's office on or about May 22nd due to his upcoming work schedule and his travels. He's unfortunately not going to be able to continue to volunteer for this position.
With regret, I would move that we accept Nathan's resignation.
I'll second that.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
And if we can just bring you up to par that Nathan Roy has submitted his resignation from the Wastewater Committee.
Who's that?
Nathan Roy?
Oh, Nathan. Oh, sure.
Okay. So, sure. Yes?
So that's a yes.
It's been moved, yes.
Yes.
Gutierrez, Blackman,
Yes.
Revillard?
Yes.
Thank you. Also sharing with the board that Chris Milano has also submitted his letter of resignation as the Recreation Chair.
I'll make a motion that we accept with regret Chris Milano's resignation.
As Chair, because
As
he's
chair.
staying on the board.
I'll second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revillard?
Yes.
Before I start with the fun announcements, I do share with the board that we've received 6 responses to the Highway RFP that was put out. And just for the record, I'd like to acknowledge receipt of the following. We received a bid from SM Design and Consulting PC. We've received bid proposal from Ty and Bond Engineering and Landscape Architects. We've received a bid from Bergman Architects, Engineers, and Planners. We've received a bid from GPI, Architectural and Collaborative Engineering, Design, and Planning Consultant Management Team. We've received a bid from Weston and Sampson. And our final bid received is from Labella. In no particular order were they announced this evening. But they all have their electronic versions, and so what I'll do is tomorrow morning, I'll create a, a way to send them all to you And I'll circulate accordingly to the highway superintendent and Mike Haggerty, your grant writer, and the town attorney, of course.
They have to be reviewed for completeness.
How many hard copies of each did we receive?
So within each, without taking everything apart, what was requested and part of the requirement is that they were going to send one original 5 copies as well as a digital copy. So there'll be one for each of you, and I can put them in your boxes tonight or distribute as the other reports are going on. And I didn't want to take the time.
Thank you.
Good report. Thank you.
I know. And then I just want to share on behalf of Michelle, we do have some senior news. She asked for me to share with all of our residents that the senior trips that are currently scheduled, the first one is going to be Monday, August 15th. It's a steam train and river boat ride. It's in Essex, Connecticut. So if you're interested in attending that, please feel free to give Michelle a call at area code 845-877-9430. Again, that trip is scheduled for August 30th, and the deadline to submit your full payment is Saturday, July 30th. The other big event that she has planned is coming up later in October. It's going to be held on October 25th at the Villa Roma. That's in Calicut, New York, and it's going to be a Caesars extravaganza. So it sounds like that's going to be a fun event, and that deadline is October 11th. So we have some time, and we'll hear more about that as that approaches. So if anyone's interested in the steam train and river boat ride, please give Michelle a call, or you can call us here at the town hall, and we will be sure to get you in contact with Michelle, who's helping with the senior trips at this time. And that'll conclude the town clerk report.
I make a motion that, to authorize the town clerk to advertise for a temporary 3-month file clerk for the building department.
Second?
Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Blackman,
Yes.
Remillard.
Yes.
Great, thank you. While I'm doing that, just may I ask, as we know that the legal ad that went out for all of our volunteers, we had the CAC, we had historian, we had our alternate ZBA members, as well as others that will have their interviews later this evening, but I'd like to re-advertise with all of those, and at this time adding the wastewater. While I'm
Yes,
doing-
please.
I'm going to add wastewater. And if okay to amend that, the notice to say until filled, because I know like we keep advertising for historian, and if I can just keep until you get that one filled, we'll just share it with your friends, put it out on Facebook.
Well, until
Post it.
until we get a response, or,
Yeah. So
but at least put it out there for a couple of weeks. How long do you usually put it out for?
we usually do it for the one meeting to one meeting. So
Have we used the community page, since a lot of people seem to read that as a way of inviting people to volunteer?
I do not, but you can take my legal ad, those that
I
have
can
their.
take your legal ad, okay.
And, put it out there. I can
okay.
send you what I
Yeah,
sent
why
to the
don't you send it to me,
newspaper.
because it just seems like it would be a good thing.
You're very popular there, so I think
Yeah,
you guys that do that.
Well, I haven't read it in quite a while, so that's nice to hear.
Yeah, so the folks that are watching, it's not that we're, trying to make this part of the report short, but we're always looking for our volunteers. As I know it's been announced the last couple of meetings, and you hear us accepting these resignations, that means that we're looking to fill those positions. So we have 2 alternate ZBA members. We now have a wastewater, so we have a town historian. So there's a lot of different ways that if you're interested in participating here at the town of Amenia, and want to become more involved, please always feel free to, lend that helping hand and help us here at the, and volunteer on the
Do
committee.
you want to announce all the ones we're currently advertising
Sure.
for?
I don't have my phone, but I'd have to base it off of what's on there, and I don't have my legal announcement, but you have your ZBA, the 2 alternates for your ZBA. You now have wastewater. You had town historian. We got our part-time
Board of
seasonal.
Assessment Review?
Board of Assessment Review was the other one that I'm missing,
CAC.
and 2 for CAC.
Did we
And we're going
fill
to
all
add
the housing?
wastewater,
And now
right?
we're, yeah.
All the housing was filled?
Housing, you have 7. The housing board,
Oh,
you have
was
7,
that
because
it?
you added Josh and
Josh.
Shannon
Oh, good. Okay,
at one of the
great.
meetings when I wasn't
Perfect.
here, so.
Good.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
so if you know somebody, please share it
So we're firing on all cylinders, in other words, except for those committees.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right, thank you.
Okay, we're withdrawing the resolution accepting the resignation of Recreation Commission Chairman and appointing new chairman until the Recreation Commission meets and votes on appointing a new chairman. Other matters, I don't have anything. Town board comments?
Yeah, I'm afraid I have a list. Would anyone else like to go first?
I just have a few items.
You go, Vicki.
I was just going to say the Memorial Day ceremony and parade was excellent on Monday, May 30th at Fountain Square. Thanks to everybody who turned out, and especially thanks to the people who planted the planters and the beds at Fountain Square and at the War Memorial in Wassaic in front of the post office. And those people are Marcia Kaufman, Anna Hayduk, Leo Blackman, Margie O'Brien, and Eric Eschbach. So that is a lot of work, and it took 2 or 3 days to get everything done. And I think we're going to need some help next year that in order to get this all done, it took an inordinate amount of time. And as the brickwork is starting to get less and less reliable and the weeds are growing up between the bricks, it's beyond what volunteers can actually maintain. We're happy to continue watering and keeping the plants deadheaded and such, but the overall area is in need of more attention than volunteers can handle. So
And it would be good to get more volunteers nonetheless.
volunteers would be great. We do need more. We have watering positions, and watering is a big important thing. We have 2 volunteers now doing it twice a week, but there's a 3rd spot. If you have time, it's pretty easy to do. There's a source of water. You just need to be able to carry some water back and forth.
Should Dawn advertise that?
I don't, I can write an article in the paper. I
All
think
right,
it's a little easier to get the information across.
We usually do a thank you anyway, right?
I already put a letter into the editor, but that was a thank you, not a call for volunteers. But I could
Okay.
probably amend it because it didn't get in time. So I could amend it to ask for volunteers to
Yeah,
help
that
for
would be
next
great.
year. Yeah, okay. I wanted to also thank the people who participated in this ceremony. Cassandra Whitehead sang not 1 but 2 songs, and she did a phenomenal job. It was worth it just to hear her sing. She's amazingly talented, and she's a Weebatuck and a Bard College grad, and looking for more opportunities. She was very happy to do this for the town of Amenia, and so I was very pleased to get in touch with her and able to tap our local talent. And thanks to Maddie Fletcher, who is the new commander of the VFW, who emceed the event and has done a great job in her role as commander. Thank you. That's all I have.
I have none. You're up, Leo.
No.
I do have one. I'm sorry.
Oh, see?
I forgot. It's about caterpillars.
Ah, yes, caterpillars.
There's some
Good point.
caterpillars out there. They're gross. We did get a couple of resident inquiries as to whether the town could arrange for some sort of aerial spraying, because apparently this was done in Connecticut. That was just relayed to us. I don't have any. Anyways, I did call DEC, and they're like, yes, we are having an exceptionally big turnout year for the sponge moth.
Yeah, they
formerly
changed
known-
it from
Gypsy moth,
gypsy
right.
to, I thought it was going to go to Roma first, but it went directly to sponge moth.
Sponge moth.
They did refer me to a page on the DEC website, which is everything you wanted to know about gypsy moths and how to treat them yourself if you're so inclined. There's no plans at the moment for any sort of widespread aerial spraying. I will, maybe I will send a link to you and Annette, or maybe we can put that on the website.
And definitely to Gay, since she has.
I did send it to
Oh,
Gay.
good, thank
That
you.
was in my response
I
to Gay.
additionally sent it to her, so we
Good.
both sent it to the Dutchess County site apparently. So.
Well,
But they talk mainly about the eggs, and when, that's the real issue, is dealing with the eggs, not the moths or the caterpillars themselves. So it's the next cycle, it's a 10 to 15 year cycle, and so we have to deal with the egg cycle. Yeah.
even more fun than the caterpillars.
Yeah.
Well, they don't move, I guess it is more fun. That's it? Okay. I wanted to mention a few things. One is that the rec committee did a survey of people in Wassaic about the Wassaic Park, and apparently there was also a walkthrough, and I wasn't sure whether the board got the email that I did, which was a letter from, I don't know if it was, I don't know what the gentleman's position is, not the chair, that he and Paul had done a walkthrough and had some suggestions for what should be there. So if you didn't get it, I'll send it to everyone. But it was a number of thoughts before moving ahead to look for a landscape designer or architect as to what kind of things people seemed interested in. So I will forward that. Okay, the person that we're interviewing in executive session is a recreation position, is that correct, or is that something else?
Yes.
Okay, good, I just wanted to make sure, so then the other stuff I had about that will be part of that. I wondered if AKRF submitted their proposal for those
No.
zoning issues, not yet. And the rail trail lighting, what I thought I remembered at the end of the last meeting was that John Andrews was tasked with getting a sort of a final answer on whether it was required or not.
He hasn't sent me one yet.
But I mean, that's the next step, right?
Yes.
It was John Andrews, okay. And I am going to look, I didn't get a chance since the last meeting, but I'm just going to look to see if I can find some other options, because I know people in Amenia thought it might be better if it was ground mounted as opposed to mounted on a pole, so I'll look at that too.
Yeah, I don't know where that poll came from. Apparently, whoever's doing this petition has told everybody that we're putting streetlights there, which is the farthest thing from
really?
the truth.
Okay,
And there's no streetlights there. There was never any plan to put streetlights. We looked into, we're looking into all options, but apparently it's being presented to people that we're planning to put streetlights and it's going to be lit up like the train station, and nothing could be farther from the truth. The purpose of the Wassaic Rail Trail is to provide safe passage from the Wassaic train to the hamlet of Wassaic. I mean, that's why we got the grant. That's why there was a Trail to the Train committee to have Supervisor Uvrard sign the grant, because people were walking along Channel 22. So in order for
I've
there
done
to
that
be
myself.
safe passage from the train station to Wassaic 24/7, there needs to be some type of lighting for people there.
yep,
But
absolutely.
yes, and what we're
But-
planning to do right along was to make it as unobtrusive as possible.
Yeah. The engineering firm that we awarded the bid to, what was their name?
WSP Sales.
WSP, that's right. They had changed names or something earlier on, but they were Parsons before. That's right. So anyways, in their initial proposal, they gave us two options. They gave us one with lighting and one without. And in the drawings that they submitted for the option with lighting, they did have these like 35-foot tall lights.
Which
And-
is why we didn't accept that.
yeah. I'm just.
That
stating
was an addendum to the original bid, and we did not accept that part of the bid.
Absolutely correct. I'm just stating that if the public saw that at the time, that's really the only thing that the public has seen as far as, options to date. So that's
Well,
where,
I just wanted to make it clear that was never an option for this board,
great.
and it was never an option for the Wassaic Trail to the Train. But since we do have to do what we need to do to provide safe passage for the people getting off the train, we need to do something. So that's all I wanted. I just wanted to make that clear.
I think that's really important. We talked, I think, last time about just making sure that people, that the lights were on when it was dark and the last train that comes up here arrived and the first train in the morning departed, so that people can walk from Wassaic or south of the station. So I think there are a lot of ways to do it, but I still think it would be really nice to have that light.
Yeah, and I think the part of the confusion was that some of the emails we received from the DOT said that we did not have to use the grant funds we got for lighting.
Oh,
That we could use, our own funds or, get another grant. That the funds that we got from the DOT could be used for construction and engineering,
great.
as it was.
I wanted to move on to the parking lot striping. I spoke to Megan a couple of days ago because I had never had a conversation as to whether the suggestions I made to make a little bit more room for turning met her concerns. And she had said what she'd really prefer is to have cars parked basically where the cars at the end of that row would be, which would require 3 cars, I guess, which seems like a good idea because then she could actually drive around. She wants to make sure that there's enough space between rows. So I don't know whether it's like a reasonable thing to ask.
Her recommendations have been sent to the people doing the striping.
Were my recommendations sent?
No, Megan's.
And why is that?
Because she's the highway superintendent and she had input.
Okay, but I made some suggestions to make it somewhat easier and potentially better, which she was happy with. She just was a little nervous about the space between the rows.
I don't know Ian's the one who's working on this.
From last meeting, there was comments made, and I kept asking the board last time about what direction that I should take, because there was a lot of conversations about it, and I had requested that people follow up. Nobody followed up. If you have comments, please email me. I'll circulate them. The only written comment that I received from anybody was from Megan. That was forwarded over, but I haven't received written comments from anybody.
Okay, I thought I had CC'd you on what I sent, but I will do that with some comments.
And are the spaces going to be designated in some manner?
Yes, they're working on a plan now. So they're taking all the comments that they've received so far, and they're
The
working on it
striping
now.
company is actually working on
Yeah,
it.
Stone Leaf is doing it with who they're working with. There's
Well, the company takes direction from
Stone Leaf.
Stoneleaf.
Yeah. So they are working on it. There's been emails going back and forth, so if any board member has additional comments that they want to send, please send them to me in writing. This is part of the reason why last meeting I didn't have good direction, so I thought everyone was going to follow up in writing.
So you need to CC us if you're passing along a finished product, I would think.
He
I mean, I
doesn't-
don't
No,
understand.
He doesn't have a finished product.
No, anything I receive from them will go to the board for review. So the board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have another opportunity to look
Absolutely,
at what they're
absolutely.
proposing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So it
and
needs
the
to be
other
approved.
thing I asked Ian to send them is the actual ruling from the planning board saying that how many spaces were actually designated.
11, it's already in the resolutions and
Yes, it
everything.
is. It's already in,
So-
what they
But the
already signed off
original
on.
site
in the
plan said
planning
that we
board.
had 54 spaces in there. If you look at the site
ori-
plan,
The original one they sent,
correct.
yes. And Megan had a lot of
That's-
concerns with that.
No way, 54.
Yeah. So this plan will be submitted to the town board for approval, as well as the highway superintendent. So once it's approved from everybody, then it'll go in motion. Nothing will happen until the board has had its say.
Okay. I wanted to just report on the Housing Board. They're working with Hudson River Housing to arrange some sort of town meeting or listening session regarding the project on Route 22, the Affordable Housing Project, but they haven't set a date for that yet. And the Wastewater Committee seems to have everything in place to submit for the state revolving fund to get infrastructure money for the wastewater system, so that's good. The water district application, Marco from SEBI is working on the engineer's report. It's a little unclear. We've had a few conversations about whether the other pieces that are required to be submitted he's going to do or not do. So I think we need to, since the thing is due before we next meet, I think that we...
Mike Haggerty is working on that as well.
Okay, because I've called him and haven't heard back, so that's nice to hear. Okay, well anyway, I'm going to follow up on them because I don't want to miss this deadline. Our heads are going to roll. So there's that. Let's see. Victoria, you had said you were going to meet with the building inspector about his backlog. Did that meeting take place?
About what backlog?
About his backlog of complaints, building department complaints?
Well, no.
You and I had a conversation about that.
No, not yet.
Okay.
One of the building inspectors has been out sick all week.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, the other stuff is executive session, so thank you all for your indulgence.
Are there any other town board comments? I make a motion to go into executive session to discuss matters leading to the appointment of a particular person and to discuss matters related to proposed litigation. And the town clerk is excused, and the executive session will be also include 3 candidates for positions
No?
and our town attorney.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Remillard?
Yes.
Okay, make a motion to come out of executive session, return to regular meeting.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Council members Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Remillard?
Yes.
Okay, we had some interviews in executive session. Is the board ready to make some appointments?
I would move to accept 2 applications this evening. Can I do that in one?
No, you need to do them
Motion.
separately.
I can do them separately. So I'll make a motion that we accept Tyler Howard's application for assistant groundskeeper. Is that the title of the position?
Assistant Recreation Groundskeeper.
Assistant Recreation Groundskeeper.
And I'll second that.
Do I have to state the hourly?
Yeah,
As-
again, my recommendation to the board, if we're hiring anybody, the hiring should be done by formal resolution.
No.
You should be stating
So how about this?
the,
How about I amend my motion to...
You can do a verbal resolution.
yes, you can.
Do a verbal resolution.
Well, I'm concerned with the camp director that we, there is, if we postpone this 2 weeks, she's only going to have 2 weeks to prepare before, to...
Why don't you
before-
change your motion to a verbal resolution and finish that?
I will change my motion to a verbal resolution, much to the delight of our council. So amended, we'll say that, what's the hourly for Tyler?
$15.50.
For $15.50 per hour, I move that we hire Tyler Howard as assistant recreational groundskeeper.
Start date?
With the start date of
Monday,
next week, which is June
6.
6th.
Supervisor Perotti? No,
Yes.
yeah, we'll start with you. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Fablelaro?
Yes.
I'd like to make another verbal resolution that we hire Miss Alexa Griffin as the town's summer, let me get the title,
Recreation Director.
Recreation Director. Starting on Monday, June 6th, at an hourly rate of, Victoria?
I think it's 16.
$16 an hour.
$16 an hour.
Second?
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Fablelaro?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, is there anything else you wanted to do with the bid opening?
I'm going to hand them out tonight.
You're just
I'm
going
just gonna
to
hand
hand them out?
to you
Okay.
guys.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Aye.
I'll second.
Damian, Leo. 8:20. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes?
Blackman? Fablelaro?
Yes.
Have a good night.
Thank you.